Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and explain this as best I can and also apologize because I'm 99% sure that this is going to be a really long video. So, I remember back in 2011 when Facebook was a thing and we did those little 30 days of gaming challenges, and it was just a cool, fun idea, and yeah. So I thought how interesting it would be to revisit that, but make it as a video. Now, since I no longer have a Facebook, I don't really have any of my previous answers. So a lot of this is based off memory. I was able to find the same list on by just Googling it up, but I didn't like a lot of those and felt that they weren't exactly appropriate for a video, so I found another list, and I was tempted to do both, but I decided to mix and match those answers, so this is a culmination of the two put together. A lot of it is based off that first original list from back then. So, here we go. 30 days of gaming in one single video because I'm fucking weird. Alright, so I've explained it in a few other times. I think it was a top 20 N64 games. I don't know what my first video game was, but if I were to have to guess, I would say it's Mario Kart 64. My parents say Trilogy, but I feel like Mario Kart 64 is far, far more likely. Thinking about it, there's going to be a lot of short answers real quick. Alright, so another thing about this list is I'm gonna try to avoid repeating the same answer over and over again because I tried to be a little bit diverse with the way things were. So this answer is gonna be Yoshi. I remember Yoshi being the answer I put down before, but yeah, some of the questions blend together. So you guys know I like Samus, I like James Bond, etc., etc. But Yoshi was one of the earliest ones I can think of liking. I've explained before that I like World's Not Enough a lot more than GoldenEye 64, and I think it's just GoldenEye 64 but better for like a lot of reasons, and it's not one I ever hear people talk about or praise or anything of the sort. I think it's kind of like the thing that I've played and nobody else, and kind of like that, but yeah, no, World's Not Enough is always going to be my go-to, saying, yes, this is good, it's better than what you think is good, play it. I know it's absolutely terrible, and a lot of people think so. If you even just Google it up, there's a whole bunch of reviews saying how bad of a game this is. But I don't care. I think it's fun in the most mindless sense of ways. It's kind of got like a super early Splatoon where obviously there's not really shit to do. But if you're just like, if you're listening to a stream or listening to music and you got like 20 minutes to kill, it's not even a problem to just join a match, do some bullshit, and then move on with your life. You don't have to think about what you're doing. You just play the game, that's all there is to it. Like, I can understand it's not a mass appeal thing, but it is what it is. I like it. I don't care. Now, I apologize straight up for not having good footage of this. We're just gonna go ahead and use my old footage for when I first started joining YouTube, because I thought I want to be the guy who was the end-all be-all, so... yeah, but no, I have beaten that game. I just don't have the video footage proof of it, I don't think. But yeah, no, that's the hardest game I ever played that I can think of. But I also feel like that's specific to genre alone. And yeah, there you go. That's one that I don't think many people are going to argue. I am the guy. See, now a lot of people hate Navi, but honestly I never did. Hell, thinking about it, my brother didn't either, because a lot of times when I needed help in video games, he would do Navi noises as a way of saying look out or pay attention to this, like if he noticed something I didn't. The one that always annoyed the shit out of me was the owl, and the primary reason for that is he gives you this huge, unavoidable dialogue box, and then when you're like, okay, you're done talking, and then he says, do you want to hear that again? You're thinking to yourself, God fucking no, but it puts the default answer on yes, you accidentally hit that A button, and you're sent right back through the vicious fucking cycle. You don't give a shit about anything that fucker has to say, and you can't avoid him. That's the huge difference between him and Navi. Navi's just a little fucking noise that you can tune out, and you don't hit a button, it doesn't hinder you from gameplay. This fucker sits there and talks your goddamn ear off like that fucking grandmother you don't like, who can't get off the fucking phone. Alright, so this one took me a little bit, and I know for a fact that this answer was different because I think back then I put Banjo and Kazooie because I didn't have a good answer. But now I can say I've got one. So, a little bit of a story time here. Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations is heavily centered around Phoenix's past. In the beginning of the game, you find out that Phoenix was almost killed by his girlfriend, Dahlia Hawthorne. And then, years later, Phoenix sees what he thinks is Dahlia, so he goes to investigate it. He keeps trying to figure out who this person is just because he can't believe he's actually seeing Dahlia. He finds out later that Dahlia had a twin sister named Iris. That's who he actually met. Dahlia's dead, and the person that he was dating that whole time was actually Iris in disguise as Dahlia. Dahlia was just using him so he could get away with murder. So it really kind of makes you feel bad for Iris when you find out that she's convicted for assisted murder, because you really enjoy the fact that Iris genuinely cares about Phoenix. That's the kind of thing I like right there. It makes me want them to be happy and shit together. They feel like an actual couple at that point. So that's the one answer I can give wholeheartedly. Alright, so this is one I suppose it's better off if you just listen to it, but for the sake of things, I'm going to go ahead and give you a few examples. Now, the cop-out answer to this question is just to put something like Super Smash Bros., since it's got the soundtrack of quite literally everything that ever fucking exists and its grandmother, but I prefer something that's like a little bit more honest, where I can say, yes, I enjoy just about every song this game has to offer. David Wise is a fantastic composer, and just about everything on that game I either like, I don't know, it's super enjoyable. Forest Interlude, Hothead Hops, In a Snowbound Land, Sticker Brush Symphony. The only songs I really can think of that I don't enjoy are like the basic main menu and the bonus areas, but like the overworld themes and the level themes are all fantastic. I'll let you just listen for about 30 seconds. Alright, so this one's also different from back then, and that's because I think this one's generally more depressing. So back then I put in Silent Hill Homecoming, where the protagonist sees his father killed right in front of his very eyes. I think Homecoming had a lot of depressing moments that I enjoyed, and I think that Homecoming is one of the better of the newer games. But this one hits it a little bit more. So, a little bit of story and context for you. You play as Lee. Lee finds a girl who is abandoned because her parents are in a different town and her babysitter was killed. Lee then takes this little girl, Clementine, on through this post-apocalyptic world. Eventually, Lee gets bit and he's dying. And at the very end of the game, your mission is to tell Clementine to kill you so she can save her own life. Watch.
Lee, wake up! Please don't be dead. Please, no! Lee, I was so scared. I thought you left me. I saw my parents.
I know. They didn't get to you, right?
No. We got away. They're dead for sure.
Clementine, we have to get out of here as fast as we can.
We can't. There's thousands of them outside.
We have to. I'll protect you. We'll push through.
No, that's crazy. I saved you. We're safe here. I locked us in.
Get that door open.
I can't.
Do it!
It was only a little open when I found it. I closed it to keep us safe.
Pull on 3. 1, 2, 3!
See?
Clementine, honey.
What happened? No, that's not... No!
Yes, Clem, it is. I'm sorry, Clementine. I'm supposed to take care of you. I can't now.
I know. Get up, Lee. The door is right here.
I can't.
You have to.
Them, I can't move. This is it for me here.
Please, please, try to get up.
I can't. You don't have much time. You gotta do something. Fast.
Like what?
You need to get out of here as soon as you can.
I can't leave you.
Just work on getting out, okay? Put the handcuffs on me. Attach me to this.
What? Why?
No matter what happens, you're safe then.
I don't know.
Just do it, sweetie. Make sure they're tight.
I don't want to do this.
You have to. It'll keep you safe. You only have to deal with him now. Hey. You're strong, Clem. You can do anything.
But I'm little.
Doesn't mean nothing. You gonna see bad stuff, but it's okay.
My parents. It's so horrible.
I can't imagine, sweet pea.
And now, you? Please. Please don't be one of them. Please don't become a walker.
There's only one thing you can do. You know that.
I don't know if I can.
You have to shoot me, honey.
Lee, no.
It's okay. It's okay. Megan, first days we met. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
When I went out to rescue that boy Glenn, we met a girl. She'd been bitten too. All she wanted was to not come back as a walker.
Lee?
And I remember how hard it was to do that. But I'm glad I did. You don't want to see me like one of them.
Okay, Lee. I can do it. I can.
Find Tomid and Krista. They're outside of town, by the train. You remember how to get back there?
Yes.
Good. They'll take good care of you. And Clem. Keep that hair short.
I will. I'll cut it myself.
Great. Good. And also...
What is it?
No, don't worry. All right. I'll miss you.
Me too.
Now, I'll be honest, this one I think is kind of a hard one to answer just because, like, a lot of games have really good gameplay, so it's kind of a very vague and general question. So I'm just going to side with the bullshit answer I put years ago, which was Mortal Kombat Trilogy. And the primary reason I'm going to put that is just because I think it's aged very, very well for the sake of something like 22 years, that I still think it's got very tight and fluid gameplay that feels incredibly natural, and just, it feels right for a fighting game to pick it up and play. Now granted, this was back when things like sprites were prevalent opposed to 3D models and realistic animations. I don't know, I think that that's kind of slowed things down a lot, but I really love the fast-paced action of Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Now, I think the N64 has one of the best libraries, because back then they had a lot of good support. A lot of people say that, it didn't, but I don't know, I don't get it. I've got plenty of N64 games that are really good. And then when I look at my GameCube library, I realize there's a lot of good games there too, but a lot of it's the same game. Like, hey man, there's a lot of good GameCube games, but like 6 of them are Resident Evil. As to where you don't really get that so much with Nintendo 64. The difference is it's all from like the same developer, such as Rare. So I think the N64's got a lot of fantastic games. I don't know, that's just like, I suppose nostalgic bias, but I think when you're comparing things like shovelware movie titles from the NES, and then a little bit better but the same thing from the Super Nintendo, then you got the 64, which has more established stuff to it, the GameCube, which is established stuff that's the same thing over and over, the Wii is shovelware shit, Wii U's a little bit better, and then everything Sony and Microsoft is basically just third party, and that's it. There you go. Like, that's my 2 cents. I'll give the PS3 better credit, but the PS2's got like absolutely nothing worth a damn on it. Nothing that interests me, at least. I'll be honest, I couldn't really think of a good answer for this one, so I put Metroid Zero Mission. And I think most of the reason I'm siding with that is just because I think it's the strongest 2D Metroid period. I mean, Metroid 2 Remake can put a little bit of a challenge to that, but I still stand by Metroid Zero being better purely in the fact that it plays like most other Metroids do, as to where the 2 Remake doesn't. It gives you no help whatsoever. It's Breath of the Wild Metroid Edition, as to where Metroid Zero, it has the same general idea of something like Prime, or Prime 2, or Super Metroid, and so on like that. So for that reason, and for the reason that it's got the best controls and all that shit like that, I say it's a game you should give a go. Like, I feel like there's something special to just the open-ended exploration that really gets you, or at least it gets me. That's one of my favorite things, is to just lose myself in a game, and I feel like this is one of the perfect games to do it, and it's not really difficult at all, so there's not really much holding you back. Now, there's 1,001 games I've played more than 5 times, because I'm not the person to play a game once and then never play it again. But, I mean, I think this one kind of goes without saying, because I speedrun it, so Banjo-Kazooie, there you go. I mean, I've also been speedrunning things like Resident Evil and Metroid Zero as well, and I play World's Not Enough a lot, but, I mean, it only wanted one answer, so I guess Banjo-Kazooie it is. I think the Smash Brothers series as a whole is my favorite because, I don't know, I know it's not an official fighting game, but I don't know, something about it's always gotten me where I think it's mostly the fact that I've always been able to just play with AI and just have a random multiplayer match. That's not really a feature you can do in Mario Kart, it's just, do you want to race in the cups, and that's it. As to where, when you do something like Smash, you get a different experience every time. I also really, really adore Nightfire's multiplayer, and I feel like that's basically the Smash Brothers of first person, you know, without it being online, but being online's nice too. I don't know, the Smash series just in general I think is a lot of fun, and I think it's gotten better as it's gone along, and so on and so forth. I mean, honestly, I couldn't think of too much better, but I'm gonna have to say Firework Kirby. It's just the one that stands out to me the most. It's simple, it's cute, it's different, it makes a lot of sense for what it's supposed to be. I like it. I like hopping around in stupid little explosions, just killing everything within my radius. Now, granted, it makes the game a fair bit easier, but I don't know, it's just, fireworks are so happy, and that's just a cool, happy power-up, so I like it a lot. That's really all there is to say. Now this one took me a minute too, but one thing that got me in particular was when I first LP'd Resident Evil, back when I did it with a camera, back before the 15-minute time limit, I tried fusing the idea of Marilyn Manson's song of it with the cutscenes of the game as like a video preview. Now I'd seen Cloud8745 do stuff like this with his Silent Hill series, and I liked that a lot. So that was my take on it. And as a result, that's the thing that makes it stand out to me, is I feel like the Resident Evil remake has some of the best cutscenes because I think back to those little videos. I also just think all of them are very interesting and very pretty looking as well. Like, it's nice to see how the game evolves. So there you go. Now, because of Fire Red in particular, it made me realize that Giovanni is one of the most interesting and one of my favorite antagonists in particular. Mostly for the fact that, like, he's so interesting, mysterious, that kind of thing. He's basically a mob boss, and he holds such commanding authority to the point where even 2 years after he's gone, people are still, like, craving his attention and things like that. I love the fact that he shows back up in Heart Gold and Soul Silver for a secret boss fight, and I feel like that's one thing that people enjoy as well. Like, imagine if he came back again, like, there's still, that's again what inspired my idea for the Team Rocket hideout, you know? Those people that can't get over the fact that Giovanni's gone, like he's some sort of god or some shit. I don't know what it is, but he's just so fascinating to me. And that huge reveal when you find out he's the Viridian gym leader, that I wish that was a thing I got to experience, because I feel like if I played that for the first time as an adult, that'd be like a huge mind-blowing thing. But it, you know, I was fucking 8 and I didn't understand shit. But no, I love it. I think it's super cool. I like Giovanni a lot. Yeah, so see, it basically just asked what my favorite character was again, but this time it has to be a good guy. But yeah, no, you guys know without a doubt it's Samus. It's Samus. It's mostly for the fact of things, like, originally I started liking her because of Smash Brothers. Found out she was a good character, like the nerd flinging, and then I played Metroid and I was like, holy shit, this is great, this is a lot of fun. It's got a nice little array of abilities. I like the badass kind of persona that everyone is attracted to as well. There you go. See, now this question was what made me realize I didn't make that top 10 boss videos video, because I was trying to be continuity with some of my other lists. So yes, Twin Rova! There's my favorite boss when I think of what it is, and I've already explained all of my reasons since I'm recording these at the same time, literally about 10 minutes ago. But yes, I think it's very fun. I love the Mirror Shield, I love the Spirit Temple, I love the Requiem of Spirit. I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Now again, I'm attracted to a lot of games, and I play a huge diversity of different things, ranging from puzzles, shooters, horror, platformer, action. Hell, I've been playing more RPGs these days, but I would say of all of them, I think I play more platformers than anything, so for that reason I'm going to say platformer. Now originally, I remember my answer to this being Majora's Mask. Now Majora's Mask is a fantastic game with great story, but I feel like a lot of that game is mostly good for things like the side questing and the characters in the world itself. It's great how it has the lack of Triforce and the stages of grief being visible on display. But I kind of want to side with Super Paper Mario, because I think it's, again, that's the Majora's Mask of the Mario series. And it feels like it is a little bit more prevalent with its impact, or at least more in your face about it. So for instance, you got the destruction of the Samur Kingdom. You've got the fact that the angel from the Over There is actually just a pure heart created as a living being. You've got the great character development with things like Count Bleck, Mimi, Ochunks, and Dementio. So it's fascinating. I love it. There's so many good things in it. It's just kind of really fucking annoying to play. But the story is what saves that game for me and what makes me enjoy it as much as I do. Alright, so I promise I am still working on this video as of the time of me recording this, but Mario Party 2 is objectively a terrible game, and I am still working on it. It's just I kind of have been, like, a few recording failures have happened, so eventually I'm going to let that out and then all my feelings can be heard. I just need to record more minigames, but the gist of it is the fact that if you wanted to describe Mario Party 2, you would compare it to something like Harry Potter, where it's like, hey, what if Harry Potter 2 cut out the last 30 minutes of the film and then replaced an hour of it with Harry Potter 1, and then that's an accurate summary of Mario Party 2. It takes away a bunch of features, and then half of the features are just the same features from the first game, and they called it a brand new game and thought you would enjoy it. So Mario Party 2 is a piece of shit. Really, really bad. I remember when everyone else was doing this, they were putting Okami, so I tried not to be that statistic, so I went and sided with Wind Waker. Because honestly, I don't really hate Wind Waker's visuals. A lot of people got super critical over it. Admittedly, as a kid or a teenager, I probably would have too, but as an adult, I could give a shit less. I still think it's an alright game, and I think its visuals have stood the test of time. It's had its good moments where those visuals shine through. So yeah, I enjoy it. I like the cel-shaded thing. It's become kind of like a recurring thing that shows up a lot more in gaming, and I want to say it's because of things like that. It's a simpler style that ages really, really well. If I were to total how much time I've spent playing Rock Band, it would be literal years of my life, because there was an entire summer that I spent going over to McFuggle's house just so he and I could play Rock Band, and that was it. So that was 10 years ago. It was 2008. So from 2008 to now, I'm sure I've spent at least a year of my life playing that game, because it's one of those simple games that I can pick up, play it, enjoy it. That's all there is to it. I'm a perfectionist, so I kind of get annoyed when I do something bad, but I still love the game, and it's kind of shown that I've put a lot of time into it, I should hope. I've gotten 188 songs perfected on bass, and then 16 perfected on guitar. So that's over the course of about 10 years, off and on a lot, so I haven't been playing it every single day, but it's always been one that I've come back to and spent a lot of fucking time on. Now, obviously, because I can't play this now, I'm stealing someone else's footage, but it's still on my to-do list. It's one of those, the second that Switch release comes out, that's one of the primary reasons I haven't got a Switch yet, is because I'm waiting for something like this, and Odyssey. I was hoping Stars was going to be a thing, but it hasn't been. So once a bunch of good games start coming out, I'm getting it, and Yooka-Laylee is still top on my list. I know it's not as, good as a lot of people were hoping. A lot of people say it's more comparable to Tooie than Kazooie, and it kind of isn't all that great, so I'm going with a little bit lower expectations, but it's still something that I want to experience myself, and I'm refusing to watch any videos or spoil myself on anything with. I'm going in it blind, and I'm going to enjoy it. This was another one that's kind of harder to answer now, considering how many games have, professional voice actors and shit like that, so it's not like it once was. But then I remembered my answer from back in 2011. The best voice acting is no serious voice acting. I always enjoyed playing Sims 1 and listening to them speaking gibberish, and then, I still remember the dancing thing. And then in Sims Bustin' Out, if you piss someone off, they'll yell, and it sounds like they're calling you a hot dog. And I think that's the funniest fucking thing in the world. Sims, anyone that can voice act in gibberish, that's a talent. Admittedly, I was trying to avoid things like movie games and all that. Just, I wanted to make them strictly first party or something like that. But this was one that it was the first thing that came to mind. When you think of Spider-Man, you think of Venom, Venom's arch nemesis, but then you also remember Carnage is a huge thing right there. So that little conflict right there where they're staring each other down and you're like, oh, this is gonna be good. That's the kind of thing that I like. I love so much that they put that fight in there. You knew the game was gonna feel empty without Carnage, and then they give it to you. And not only do they give it to you, but they give it to you as your Venom. So you're fighting it on symbiote versus symbiote. Now, at one point I did make a list of top 10 game developers, but I realized that's kind of a conflicting thing, because some of the examples I would have listed would have been argued over developers versus publishers and so on and so forth like that. So for that reason I got rid of that list. But I want to say my top answer, I think, on there was Capcom, purely for the sake of things like the Resident Evil series and the Phoenix Wright series being two in particular that I really, really adore. I'm pretty sure if you track my Twitter far enough, hell, I'll even try and dig for you. You can see me say that Splatoon looks like a game that would be fun, but kind of get boring really quick, and it wouldn't be for me. Well, joke's on me, dipshit. It's one of my favorite games. It's one of the best Wii U games out there. Purely for that same reason that I was talking about Lost Reavers. It's simple, it's fun, you pick it up, you play it, you enjoy yourself. It can seem kind of repetitive and boring, sure, but if you're putting on a stream or doing something else in the background, it's perfect. It's just the time killer you need, and I love it. I'm becoming more and more attracted to games like this because there's less expectations in me. I don't fucking know, but I know I love it a lot. Much better than I thought it would be. And Splat 2 is going to be on my to-do list. Now, I've expressed this deeply in my Ocarina, or my top 20 N64 games. So Ocarina of Time is my favorite game of all time, and it always will be. Mostly for, I'm going to say just, I mean, I hate to use the word nostalgia because it's not that. Because how can I get nostalgic over something that's sitting on my fucking shelf right now? Like, you can see the footage of me playing it. Obviously, I've played it more than 10 years ago. Just that deep kindred love, childhood, that, like, I think it's designed incredibly well. I think it's aged incredibly well. Obviously, a few things could be better, but I wouldn't change much. Hell, if it's already been modernized and it turned out pretty fucking okay. Like, I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's really well balanced. It's got the perfect balance of story and side quests, so nothing feels overwhelming. And it's that classic but cliche of epic quest overcoming, save princess, that kind of shit. So there's that. But I mean, I still love it a lot. There's a lot of good ideas they put into it, but there's also a lot of strange puzzles that are really obtuse. But yeah, no, I like it a lot. It's always gonna be there. Alright, but that was my idea. I want to try it. I apologize again for long video. It went from being really short answers to me going, wow, this will fly by quick, to me getting a little bit more elaborate as things went on, because I realized some things need a little bit of clarification. Yeah, no, it was a thing I wanted to try. I'm going to throw it in my top 10s playlist anyway. I don't know, just because it feels like it's the most appropriate place to put it. I doubt I'll ever do something like this again unless something piques my interest. But it was just an idea I wanted to do it, and there you go. It'll keep me busy for a little bit. If you want, I can put a list or something in the description. You can answer them yourself. I don't care. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. It's JC4R.